I know most of the Egyptologists in North America and a good share of them in Egypt and in Europe. I respect them, and most of them respect me, and we get along just fine. I may think that we're a little bit odd, but lots of people think that about Latter-day Saints anyway. There is a particular reason why some Egyptologists will get so bothered with Latter-day Saints and the Book of Abraham. You should know there's an anti-religious stream in academia anyway, and there are lots of scholars who are trying to prove that the Bible is incorrect and that everything about it is wrong, and anything having to do with religion is incorrect and wrong. So you're going to encounter that anytime you are in academics and you come from a religious point of view. That's to be expected. There's a particular issue that can be troublesome for Egyptologists, and that is that Joseph Smith was claiming to translate Egyptian characters and Egyptian language before the discipline of Egyptology could really do that. Champollion had cracked hieroglyphs, but they weren't really to the point where they could translate whole lines of text. And I would doubt that Joseph Smith even knew Champollion had cracked hieroglyphs. There were all sorts of people who thought they'd figured out ways of reading hieroglyphs and came up with all sorts of ideas of translation and the deep meanings and the mysteries that could come from translating these lines of Egyptian text. The key difference is that once we did figure out how to translate hieroglyphs, everyone stopped believing all those other people who had claimed to translate hieroglyphs. But people still believe what Joseph Smith said he translated. He claimed to do it by divine inspiration, not by grammars, not by anything else, but by divine inspiration. And there are many of us who do still believe that he translated this correctly. And that can just bother a few Egyptologists who feel like he fits into the category with everyone else, and it doesn't make sense that he is still believed when everyone else is no longer believed, because this was all pre-Egyptology discipline. How could he have translated? And I find many of them start out with that assumption. When they see these things that match up, where we've painted this case of plausibility, they have to say, well, it's a coincidence. Joseph Smith couldn't have gotten that right. He couldn't translate. You see the assumption that they're starting with. The assumption based on academic abilities being the only way to translate, and thus it says he could not translate, thus he is wrong, therefore anything that seems like it's right is coincidence. That's because they're not willing to allow for an ability to translate based on revelation. That's their point of view. They're entitled to that point of view. I've had revelatory experiences that convince me it is possible.